I'd like to call to order the October meeting of the Commission on the Arts. First agenda item will be public forum.
Hey everybody, I'm Jenny Brockpeller from the Ames Community Arts Council, and I just wanted to remind everyone that this Saturday is the Ames Area Studio Tour. It's a one-day event this year. We'll go from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and there's 11 studios to visit. Lots of new faces this year, so if you've done it before, doesn't mean you shouldn't try it again. And the map and list of participating artists is on our website, amesart.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? The next item would be the approval of the minutes from the September 13th meeting. Anyone have any questions or comments on them? Dan?
I think I've spoken with Brian about the spelling of my name, and it's being corrected.
I'll entertain a motion to accept them or approve them as submitted.
So moved.
Second?
I will second.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We now have to review the 4 late arriving annual grant reports. Everybody got a copy of those?
Mhm.
I think those came through okay the first time. So any questions or concerns on those by anyone? Good. I think they're pretty self-explanatory, so
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to accept those or approve those.
I move to approve.
A second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the 4 annual grant reports, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries unanimously. The next item, folks, is our spring special grant hearings. We have a group of folks here, and hopefully we have a representative for everybody. It looks like it. The first organization is the Ames Community Arts Council with their application for a Business of Art webinar series. You almost could have stayed up there, Jen.
I don't really have a lot to add. I hope the application was pretty straightforward. We just discovered last year that offering that online component brought in an audience outside of our region in a way that was really exciting. So we're looking to maintain that outreach this year. It allows people to attend for a slightly lower rate when they attend electronically. So that's another reason to keep that going. And we are hoping to pay our presenters to do a special recording. So we don't just set up a camera in the back and kind of hope that it turns out, but we want them to do a separate presentation that's a little more polished and clean so that when we put it out there, it's a quality event. And then also to do an in-depth event, one topic, 3 or 4 speakers that we go in a little deeper than we can in our 2-day conference. Instagram is one example, website design, building a brand. We haven't really picked a topic, so.
Anyone have any questions?
Well, I was curious, is the webinar, will that be an interactive one or just talking head or?
To be quite honest, we haven't. I think it would be interactive.
Okay,
It would be presentation, Q&A,
sure.
classic webinar style.
And out of curiosity, did you have any plans to make it available post to where it's just only to watch, non-interactive?
We have done that in the past.
Okay,
So yes.
thank you.
Mhm.
I have a question. So the webinar would be a repeat of what was done in the live sessions, or would it be?
Correct. It would be what happened in the live session, but it would be recorded separately. So it might be slightly different, but the topic would be the same.
Would there be a way of preserving any interaction that happened in the live event for the web event, like a lower file recording?
Right. Well, we will likely record. So if we get anything quality, we certainly could make that
Great.
available.
Great.
Yes, if COVID has taught us anything, it's that people want to watch it later.
Thank you.
foresee having any kind of a charge involved with accessing the webinar after the fact? If they didn't pay to come in?
Typically we would, yes, we would keep it behind a wall and people would have to pay a small fee to access something. Since other folks have paid for it, we wouldn't want to offer it for free later because it would turn it off to people who paid to access the content.
I have a quick question about your discussion of accessibility. And you said that it'll be accessible to all people with computer access. Will you also be doing live transcription or something similar?
We
during the
have,
webinar?
we use Zoom and it does have, you can turn on the transcription. Last year we did look into having someone actually physically sign the event. We weren't able to figure out how to do it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we certainly can continue. We've had that conversation and continue to have that conversation of how to make it better. But it does, at the very least, we do turn on the transcription and it does as best it can.
Yeah.
When it's picking it up.
Anything else?
I had just one other follow-up question
Please.
just about your audience. Do you anticipate that you're going to split your audience a little bit, that the potential might not be reaching a lot of new people, instead just people choosing how they prefer to attend?
I think if we have an electronic option, again, it'll be a little less expensive. So we might get some people that wouldn't attend a full conference because of the economic barrier. And also, while I know it's not incredibly important to CODA, it does allow us to get outside the city of Ames and show us as a hub of knowledge for the arts in the region. We get some follow-up phone calls. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
And how can you help us do that? So I think we'll get some more out-of-towners than we would if we just did the live event. And in-towners who just don't want to leave their house yet, or don't feel comfortable in a conference environment.
That's definitely the way it's been going.
Right.
So,
Any other questions, concerns, thoughts? Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next organization is the Ames Town and Gown with their Calmus workshop for the Ames Children Choir.
Yeah, just briefly summarize what the event is about. If you don't mind, I'm going to take this off while I'm speaking. Briefly summarize what the event is about. We have a ensemble from Leipzig, Germany, visiting this spring called Calmus. They were supposed to come last year, but obviously we didn't have live concerts there, but much less international people coming. But Calmus is very dedicated to outreach. So we are proposing a partnership between us and Ames Children's Choir for Calmus to hold a workshop. And we would not only invite the Ames Children's Choir, we also are going to invite choral and music education students from Iowa State, plus anybody else in town who is interested in choral music to that event.
The money you're requesting would primarily be used for the extra nights hotel, the lodging and food for the group?
It'll be used for an extra night of hotel and for part of their fee. So the outreach fee that is there is, approximately 15% of their total performance fee.
Okay.
So it's, subsidizing the part of their visit with us that is outreach, and then the rest is lodging.
So do you know the total project cost? Like, are you saying the 1,500 is just a portion of the fee? That's not the full fee?
Right, because when a group comes in, they do an outreach and a concert, and so we kind of allocate and determine the majority of the fee is going to be for their concert, and then a small part is going to be for the outreach. So this is only subsidizing the outreach. The concert, of course, is going to be covered by our tickets and our regular donors.
Anything else?
Do you know how long the program will last? A couple hours?
I'm guessing probably anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. Plans are still tentative, but my understanding is this would probably be with the two oldest Ames Children's Choir groups, not necessarily the young kids. So probably, yeah, an hour and a half to 2 hours would be reasonable for that age group.
Any other questions? I think we're good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next up is the Des Moines Metro Opera with their plea for the opera shuttle.
I didn't hear that.
Guys, go ahead.
Is it all right if I take my mask off?
Yes.
I'm Mary Lou Rahman, and I'm the past president of the Ames chapter of the Des Moines Metro Opera Guild, the DMMO Guild. The past few years, COTA has very generously supported us in helping with transportation to the annual summer festival in Indianola. And this transportation primarily is designed for senior citizens of the Ames community and the Ames environment. And so in 2022, in March, or rather in 2022, the Des Moines Metro Opera is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and it's a big deal to think where this originated and how it originated 50 years ago in the cornfields of Iowa, and what it has become is just fantastic. So we're all very thrilled about that. Because of it, the DMMO is offering an extra opera this year over and above the 3 summer operas that are happening in July of 2022. And this extra opera is a very unique rendition of Mozart's The Magic Flute. And it's going to be taking place in the Des Moines Civic Center in March. Saturday, Sunday. Sunday's the matinee, and we are requesting, therefore, transportation again for that Sunday matinee show so that seniors from the Ames area can attend that. And actually, the DMO is also offering a very special performance to school children on Monday, the next day. And so let's see, I think that is primarily what we are asking. I just wanted to give a little background to that the Ames chapter has completed 32 years of existence in this area and has had many events, cultural events, and has added to cultural life in Ames. For example, in the past years, we have had children's operas performed by Opera Iowa, which is a branch of the DMMO at the Ames Public Library, things like Little Red's Most Amazing Day, Cinderella, and some others. And then a couple of years ago, we also had Opera Iowa perform in the where is it here? In the Ames City Auditorium. They did a children's version of the Magic Flute. So the Magic Flute is very much in the air, huh? But it's really, this particular show is something very unique. In fact, I just got in the mail the first announcement of it. I don't know whether you have seen it yet. It's going to come around. This is how it's going to look. And they call it a dazzling and adorable live cartoon. The technology that they're going to use here with the live performance is something rather unique. Not any venue can accommodate them. And so Des Moines is really lucky, special, that we can have them come here. They have only been able to perform in the major cities in the United States. So this is something to keep in mind for yourselves, for your children, your grandchildren. They admit children 10 years and over. I don't know why exactly, but that's the idea. 10 years and over are welcome. And so I hope that the Council of the Arts will support us once again with the request for transportation just one afternoon for seniors to this special show. Are there any questions?
How many people can fit in one of the city buses? That you
Well,
use?
we have rented the city buses to seat 50. And we have done it a couple of times already. We have had thus far between 20 and 25 on each bus. And I'm assuming, this being in March, this is going to still be the end of the COVID period, that we may have, again, another 20. I'm looking forward that we may have some ISU students. This would be fantastic for people who have not been exposed to opera yet, and that they might also board the bus with us. So shall I say 20 to 25, I expect, but many more can actually fit on the bus.
Okay. It seems like the last time we spoke about this, we were kind of encouraging you to reach out more to the student population on Iowa State, because you primarily have seniors
Yeah.
on the bus, which is great.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a whole untapped population there.
Yeah.
And I didn't see a lot here other than talking to the Iowa State Music Department on how you expected to reach out to the general population on the west side there.
Yeah. We'll make an effort to do some more of that. Do you have some suggestions of how we could go about that?
There's the Iowa State Daily.
Sorry?
The Iowa State Daily.
Daily,
It's
Okay.
the student newspaper. It's
Uh-huh.
online mostly.
online.
And if you contact the correct reporter, you don't usually have to pay for an ad. They'll do it as a human interest story.
Uh-huh.
And especially this one with all the technology they're using, I think would make opera a little more accessible to
Yeah.
the masses.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
yeah.
you might be able to get that extra 25 people, and that could
Publicity,
make a big
yeah.
difference.
Yeah, yeah.
With
yeah.
with this particular one, it may appeal to like the design colleges as well for anything like that, because it
Yeah.
is such a unique presentation.
Yes, yes, it's a great idea. Yes.
It'd be nice to fill the bus.
Oh, definitely.
Probably. Many of the seniors have mobility problems also. I mean, even with 2025, that bus feels full, but it's not full, clearly.
Well, maybe we'll have to do 2 buses.
But but I think that's great. If we can really appeal to more ISU students, I think that would be wonderful. Yes, yes. In the last one, we were not really able to do that. Those performances are in July, and of course, the 2019 is the first time that you supported us. 2020 was completely canceled, right? And everybody knows why. And so this year we did have the performances again. But everything was just starting up again. The MMO was not filling its venue completely. There were many requirements as to how and who would be able to get in. So it was an unusual year, this 2021. So hopefully 2022 will be better, and I'll be back with an annual request.
And you might try to get like on the school minutes or announcements they do every morning
Yes,
at
I'll try.
Ames High.
I'll try to.
Because then again, I think there's a lot of young folks there in drama and choir that would be interested in something like this if
Yes.
they were aware of it enough ahead of time.
Yes, yes, yes.
And those announcements they do for free again, so it's not an additional cost for the organization.
Yes, both high schools, yeah. Ames and Gilbert. And the time is good. Ames is good. March is good because with the summer festival, the time is not so great. Students are not really here, right? Yeah.
Anything else, Aaron? Thank you.
Thank you.
The Octagon Center for the Arts and their outreach program is up next here.
Good afternoon. First, I want to thank the commissioners and the city of Ames for their support of the Octagon Art Festival. We had our 50th anniversary of it just a few weeks ago, and it was wonderful. The Ames came out in droves to support the artists, so I just want to thank you, the commissioners, for that. We are submitting an application for out outreach that would specifically focus on children at YSS locations as well as the Boys and Girls Club. And of those numbers that were given to us, it would be about 355 students that would be reached. And we're looking at offering 14 different sessions that would be weekly with these students. And I also included some letters from YSS and the Boys and Girls Club too, to show that they are willing to participate with us as well. I broke down the information as far as the kits and the materials. And we're hoping that after a very long pandemic, that we keep getting asked when we can do more outreach. And especially with kids that may not have the access to art supplies and materials and classes. So we really want to see if we can make this work. So I'm happy to answer any questions at all from the application.
Are there specific art supplies you're looking for? Because I know the Boys and Girls Club a year ago
Yes,
sent out an SOS and got inundated with a
yes.
whole room full of goodies.
We dropped off lots of boxes of our supplies, thanks to our members and other supporters in town to kind of refill their stock. So we would talk to the people that are involved with the programming, especially if it's something that they may not have tangible at home, to something more fun and maybe a little bit more exciting too. So we would talk with our instructors, the directors at those locations to see if there's something a little more fun and exciting too that we can work in with the program.
So not just crayons and
No,
sidewalk
oh,
chalk?
no.
Are the instructors Octagon staff? Or are you going to be hiring additional artists?
Great question. We hope to actually bring on some university students that are with the College of Design, as well as a few teachers that are already involved with the Octagon that have some great ideas for simple things that, that is tactile too, that is not just painting or drawing, but can involve something else too that may even help them with their fine motor skills too, especially if they're younger kids. So we'll have a brainstorming session too, depending on the amount that after private funding and fundraising, what we have available. But yeah, we hope that this will be a great opportunity for, interns and volunteers and also the College of Design. So good question.
Anyone else?
Did you have a start date in mind? I don't know if I
Great
saw that on
question.
there.
We were, I think, in the spring, so give us some planning time, as well as maybe there's some things that the kids can even work on, like over spring break too, as well. And then we can maybe regroup after that to see, what they were able to do. So we do hope to do this over 4 weeks. That may be expanded a little bit depending on the timing, the holidays, and availability. But we do hope for, right after the new year, maybe in February.
So if this goes well, Heather, are you thinking of reprising it again as maybe a yearly thing?
We would love to. Of course, it all depends on funding, but we keep getting asked over and over, to do more, art reach in the community, especially after this long year. And we see some of the mental stress and just, the emotional strain too. And we think that this could be one component that could maybe therapeutic in many ways. So we would love to.
Perfect.
Looking at working with NAMI at all? Or Story County Veterans?
We were set to work with them the month after April of last year.
Okay.
So we hope to bring them in additionally too. Maybe not with the specific one, but in another outreach program.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you,
All right,
Heather.
thank you.
Story Theater Company has a couple requests in. I guess Shrek is the first one on the plan here.
Which one were you wanting me to talk about first? Did you have an opinion?
I'm sorry?
Shrek first.
Trying to get them straight here. So I have them written down. Okay, sorry. I'm Sue Ann Peters with Story Theater Company. Thank you for your continued support of us as well. I should have at the forum said that we're opening Frozen this month. So it's starting October 22nd through the 31st. So we're very excited to get into full swing of reopening here after all the COVID. Okay, so our first priority one that we asked for was for the Shrek matinee, and it was about we offer this matinee all the time during our June show. However, we decided to change the way that we're doing tickets and ticket pricing this year, and it created a barrier for that matinee. Basically, I'll read from our site of what we're doing different to sum up. Story Theater Company wants to spread a little light and joy by sharing live theater entertainment with our community. But because we do not want ticket costs to be a barrier to our show, we are leaving it up to each patron to choose a ticket price that is a good fit for you. The suggested ticket price is $10 per person. If that puts a strain on your finances, please feel free to choose a lower price. If you're able to spend a bit more, choosing a higher price will help support Story Theater Company. So that's our model that we're going forward with, that we did with Young Sherlock, and we're doing this fall, and we're also doing this with Shrek. However, that created a problem for the agencies that we do that matinee with, and they are unable to suggest a matinee price to their kids that they're bringing the way that they operate. They have to either charge them a ticket price or they won't do the suggested donation model. So we thought, in the year of trying to reopen and bringing kids in, why not just offer it for free and just allow these organizations to come? And we expect probably 400 to 600 at this matinee. And so that's why we were asking, we thought we'll seek outside grant funding to help support that endeavor. So that was kind of our thinking. Do you have any questions on the application?
Nancy?
Okay.
Next
That's
item?
pretty cool.
All right. You want me to do the next one?
Yes.
Was that this just has to do with we're realizing and we're already budgeted into this year. And as we started doing expenses for Frozen, how much things have gone up. And lumber's as much as 2 times, sometimes 1.5 times. And that's a big part of our set building. And fabric is actually worse. It's 2, sometimes 3 times more expensive. So we were just looking for the additional support of the our spring shows, which would be Badger, which is a teen show in February, and Shrek, which would be in June, to help support the increased production costs we have for those 2 regarding costumes, set, and props. So
Brian, since we did do some funding for them in the annual grant, are we allowed to go back with a special grant and give additional funding for that same project?
If I remember correctly, the special project grant just can't be used for something that was denied in the annual grant. So if it's for something that's unforeseen, I mean, if you believe that this is an unforeseen expense and it wasn't contemplated at the time that the annual grant was applied for, then I think it would be okay. That's
So
my
we're
recollection of the
parameters, okay.
criteria.
I just want to make sure we weren't setting a dangerous precedent.
right,
We've been
right.
setting a lot of those.
Yeah.
Okay. And that would be, the money would be used for production costs on both productions? And
Yep. That would be for those 2 that fall in the January to June.
I'm not sure about Badger, but Shrek sure has a lot of costuming problems. So I'm well familiar with how much cloth you're probably going to need for that one.
Any other questions, anyone? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
One item, we currently have just over $14,040 in requests for spring grants, assuming we granted all of those. Yeah, but we have,
One from actors?
pardon?
Did you not get one from actors?
I did not see one.
Um, do you know about when it would have been sent?
Would have been something like it. It was due like,
This date is 9/20.
yeah.
Nine 20. That's the date of the email.
Yes.
Okay, let me
I
take a
assume so. That's what the day of the application was.
9/20.
That's what our hard copies are.
I applaud them for trying Shrek. Shrek's a big thing.
Yeah.
A lot.
Oh, for sure.
I don't see it here.
Okay. Well,
I hope it's not in somebody's mailbox.
Where that went.
I see a hard copy over there. Can we just make copies and take a minute and look?
Yeah, it's. I suppose it's up to the commission how you'd like to handle that. If you want to consider it.
Sure.
If we have proof it was sent in time, yeah.
We can provisionally consider it until the city decides what happens.
Stan, you have an original copy of when you sent it to us, so.
yeah, I can give you a hard copy. I apologize. I don't know what happened.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you for your patience and your generosity of at least hearing me. Whether anything happens to this or not, who knows? Let me tell you the background for the grant application. As David knows from being around actors, we've been trying to do other things than shows whenever we can. And we've added on to the building. The now front of the building is big enough to handle doing something in it. For those of you who may have been in our old boardroom, it was a claustrophobic cave. And so with the new addition to the building, we're thinking now would be a good time to be able to pursue some other things related to. We're thinking we would love to do some classes. We were thinking, because the thing that we get the most interest in are improv classes and dance classes. And so we're thinking dance for a Broadway show. For those of you who have been to an actor's show, you know our dancing is probably not our strongest suit. And so it'd be a kind of a fun thing to do on a Wednesday night to just pick up a combination for, and you know, we've got a lot of choreographers who are willing to do that kind of thing. We've got an Iowa State graduate who just was in charge of improv, the improv group at Iowa State. He was interested in doing some improv classes. Last year we did a whole series of things on producing, directing, auditioning, those kinds of things. We would love to try something like that again. We also would like to do something. We have like live karaoke. We have access to some terrific piano sight readers. And so we could do some karaoke nights, but with a live piano player. We've got a lot of orchestras because we do musicals, and a lot of those people would like to be able to do other things, more than one big show a year. And so, you know, we're looking at the possibility of an actors jazz band. We're looking at the opportunity of doing open mic nights and that kind of thing, because we have the space for it now. And so that's kind of the source of the idea. We're thinking we would pay our instructors an honorarium based on the number of people that would attend. We're thinking for the classes, $10 a class. We would turn the money over to the instructors. We would guarantee that they make at least 50 for the night. And, we would say, okay, between 50 and 100, that means we'd get between 5 and 10 students. We probably wouldn't accommodate too many more than that. Again, still because of space and being able to manage the number of people there. Likewise, with a karaoke night or a jazz band, we would give the performers, the artists, an honorarium. We can probably seat, we just had a family reunion in the building, and they had a sit-down dinner with 50 people. So we figure we can probably seat something about like 50 people. And if we charge $10 a head to get in, that would be $500 that we could then turn over to the jazz band or whatever. And this is kind of, stuff we've been talking about, and this is the first opportunity we've had to do anything about it. So that's kind of where it is. And I'll find the note where I sent it.
I found it.
Okay.
I apologize. I don't know why, but I deleted it.
Straight from my heart.
So it was received in time. That's my mistake. I'll forward you all copies and add it to the matrix for your decision making.
You're cold, Brian.
So you were looking for 3,000, obviously, from us, and you're thinking 500 to 600 people would benefit.
We think,
from
well,
this, or-
we're playing around with this.
Okay.
And so I mean, like, we're thinking it's probably 10 to 15, maybe 20 evenings, because we won't just do one jazz band or just one karaoke night. We figure it's a nice opportunity to have something going on a Friday night at Actors when there's not a show going on. And we could never do it before because the stage and the house were always in construction for the next show. So we couldn't ever do anything like that, and we certainly wouldn't have done it in the old boardroom. And so this is a chance to try it. And we figure if we have 20 of these, and we'll figure out where the funding takes us on the number of them. If we do 20 of them, if we have a jazz band with 50 people in the audience, well, then, you're way above the number that you think, that we were originally guessing. If we do, we figure the karaoke nights will probably be the most fun. We're thinking a Broadway sing-along night, and so we think with our audience members, we could get to that many. And we don't know. It may bomb. That's why we're not. But we think it would be successful.
Now, on the karaoke night, are you going to provide refreshments?
We will have refreshments available for donation, so that we won't provide refreshments, but they'll be available for donation.
Sometimes
Yeah.
karaoke nights are a little more successful when there's refreshments.
Yes, if there are motivating liquids.
Yes.
So, yeah, but we would do that kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay.
So right now it's presented as kind of a brainstormed list of possibilities. Do you have a timeline in mind of when you might have dates and more specific details about what it's going to look like?
Well, first of all, we won't do anything until after the 1st of February because we open a show the last week in July. or in January, pardon me. We open a show the last weekend in January. So starting something before then, because the whole building gets taken over when you're doing a show. We've talked with the gentleman who was, that we've asked to do the improv, and we're thinking a 6-week improv thing that would start then in early February. We've talked to a choreographer who would do then something after that, and those would be on Wednesday nights, because we rehearse Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So those would be Wednesday night events, okay? And we're thinking 5 or 6 weeks, maybe 5. It depends upon the rehearsal schedule for the show that's going up at the time, okay? And then as soon as we know that we're going to go with this, we would start scheduling. We know we've got 2 accompanists who are good enough could do a karaoke, live karaoke kind of thing at the piano. And we would schedule that first. And our goal is to get it out in the winter time, to start in the winter, because that's when you need something. This is foolishness. You know, it's just fun. It's just entertainment. It's a good chance. We'd like to do it in the winter time. But again, not until, because we're just right up to the show after the first of the year. So that would start in February. And we'll see when we can get the jazz band people together. And, there are a couple of other contacts. I have a singer-songwriter friend who I think might be interested in doing something like this. We are open. This is brainstorming because we had like a week to put the thing together, And so it was literally a brainstorming. We've always wanted to do it. We've said when we put the addition onto the front, this is something we'd like to do. And then suddenly we had a motivating kick in the butt to get it done and to get the proposal together. And that's what we did. So, okay. What else?
So the person who's facilitating, say, the improv is paid by the $10
Yes.
per diem. So
Yes.
basically, you're asking CODA for funds to cover
the cost of the building, marketing, all, and to guarantee, because if we end up with 3 or 4 people, we still want to be able to go to Job and say, you're going to make a minimum of $50 in the honorarium.
Okay.
And the same way for if we've been talking about wanting to do a little jazz band concert or, that kind of thing. We want to make sure that we've got the funds to cover the minimums. Yeah.
How would you market it?
How would we market it?
Mhm.
We would start first with, we have an extensive email list. And if you want to get on our email, just let me know, I can add you. And so we have an extensive email list. We also use Facebook. This is something new. So I think this is something that we would go to the Tribune for and the Sun to say, this is something new in town. Hopefully they would be willing to support it with a feature article. We have pictures of these people, so we can do, the nice little posed portrait of the instructors or of the singers or whatever. And so we would do that. The other thing that we would do is go to Mel's Breakfast Club. Mm-hmm. Not good for the improv class. I don't think the younger people probably, no offense, Mel, probably listen to Mel on the Breakfast Club. But the jazz people do. And I, that would be a really good outreach for us. We also have a newsletter that we send out. And so that would become part of our newsletter as soon as, we get the go ahead to try this. But we have several avenues. It's almost the same avenues that we would use for advertising any one of our productions. We probably, because newspaper advertising is expensive, would not buy a newspaper ad because that would take away the ad. I mean, we spend a couple of grand on a show. Well, that's going to take up the available funds real fast. Okay.
Okay. Anyone have anything else? Thank you, Stan.
Thank you. And thank you for your patience and willingness to hear us out.
Of course.
Yeah,
Have a good evening.
you too.
Thank you.
And we're going to get updated.
It's already in your inbox.
Mr.
Thank you, Brian.
There all along.
You got the
Then yes, we are.
You
Okay.
got the application and you've got an updated spreadsheet. So now the requests total
1,700, 1699 short.
$17,040. And you have 15,341.
Yep. So we can't give everybody everything.
Yeah.
So you send out a spreadsheet, you want to put a little thought into it, and we can't spend more than the 15,241, which is very generous because we stockpiled some money from earlier. So kind of look at it.
So we actually have to earn our pay, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Unless you want to pony up some extra money out of your pocket, but. All right, upcoming important events and dates. The 2022-23 annual grant applications are due October 8th. The next CODA meeting is November 1st of this year. And if there is nothing else, I will call the meeting adjourned.
Would it be worth adding the capital grant application date, just for the record, that we just got emailed about? The Arts Capital grant application due date, I think was,
I think it's the 8th.
yeah.
It's
coming up.
December. What did I say? The 3rd? Yeah, December 3rd at 5 p.m.
Yep.
There's $200,000 available, one-time program for capital projects that support arts. So it's broader than simply arts agencies. It could mean a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So I've sent notices to all of the Public Art Commission members, all of the CODA Commission members, and all of the annual grant recipients for CODA from the previous year. So hopefully word will spread. And we sent out a press release today also. So got some time to ponder what to put in an application.
Who's going to make the decision? I didn't read the whole email.
So I think we have, is it Tom and Steve? Is that right?
Yeah.
From here. And then there's 3 or so
It's actually
Four
four,
Public Art Commission
counting
members.
Angie from PAC, yeah.
who are who will review the submissions and then make a recommendation to the city council.
Same basic process as we did for the other. Okay. Anything else? For the good of the organization? All right, with that, I will call the meeting adjourned.